Hi guys, today is the 1st of February 2020 and it's 4 minutes past 2 in the morning over here in the UK, and we're in Brexit now and it looks like Donald Trump's going to get acquitted, and there's so many different things going on, but I just want to focus on just the date interpretations that are left. There's 7 days left up to February the 7th, with all these interpretations that we've been looking at having the potential to unfold. As I say, when February the 7th comes, just be like a release, just let it go. So, very quickly, I want to talk about the last 27 interpretation within this extended year of the pig on the Julian calendar, which is February the 7th. For those of you who aren't aware, the number 27 appears various times throughout this video, multiple times in this first scene here. First, I'll point out the 2 dog legs representing the number 2, and then the 3rd dog leg joining on to the bottom of the dog's jaw. If you look closely, you can see that the bottom of the dog's jaw doesn't actually connect with the bottom of the mouth of the dog, so that gives you the number 7 backwards. That's 27. Not only that, but they've done the same numbers in the dog's head. So from the eye of the dog going round the mouth that way, you've got the number 2, and then where they've drawn the teeth is an upside down 7. So I hope you guys can see that. My fat fingers, I can't even see it when I'm drawing over it. The screen keeps popping up. I can't do anything about that, but hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. The number 2 just there, and then the number 7 in that same mouth. So the number 27 twice in the dog, and that's attached to the character that appears to represent Donald Trump's supporters in terms of wearing the MAGA hat. That's the reference I believe they're referring to. I also feel that the stick man here is made up of the letters DONALD, which obviously spells Donald. Some of you may agree, some of you may not, but the hat, if you took that off, that would be the letter D. Obviously you'd have to do a little bit of adjusting. You'd have to do that in your mind, because I'm not doing it on the screen. So the hat would be the letter D, the head would make the letter O, part of the body make letter N, so you've already got Don. The legs can make the letter A. You've also got the arm making the letter L, and then the gun, if that was just flipped around, re-angled a little bit, that would be also another letter D. So it appears to me that we have the Blackout scenario and the Donald Trump scenario connected, not just here with the MAGA interpretation from the stick character, but I'll get to that other interpretation just a little bit later. 666 999 upside down, 9 plus 9 plus 9 is 27. Obviously we've looked at that before. February 27th, the possibilities abound. So I'm going to go inside the classroom now. Just before I do, again, 2 and the T upside down 7. It's a reference I've connected quite a lot before, so again, just another possible connection to February the 7th, which is the last day of the year of the pig inside the Julian calendar. So really the last day in my interpretations for any of these events to unfold. It'd have to be within this week we see things happening, unless the blackout is the start of everything, in which case from February the 7th onwards things would happen, but February the 7th would be the defining date to decide whether there's things happening in connection with this video, in which case continue, or nothing's happening in connection with this video, in which case stop. So inside the classroom now, we already know that the George Bush character also represents Donald Trump, and the numbers displayed on his hands are the number 10 and then 10 again. I'm just going to turn that down. Probably not going to catch it. Didn't catch it. But he then displays the number 7 with is it 4 on this hand and 3 on the other, or vice versa. Either way, that's another reference to the number 27, which again appears to possibly connect to February the 7th. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully we don't see anything, but again, we've got the starlight, we've got the darkness in the classroom, so again, reference to no electricity, a blackout of some kind. There's a socket back here with no plug. We've got various references to no electricity throughout this scene up on the chart, which we can't see at the moment. Turn this right down. Is the evolution board. I think we'll get there in a few moments. But you've also got the hangman, the broken circuit, again indicating no electricity. The reason why I said earlier that I think the Donald Trump scenario and the blackout scenario may be connected is because the number 25 has been interpreted from this eyebrow here with the Trump character on the other eyebrow. You can see the hair, it's lying on his back, so this is the back here. The knee is bending just here. This will be the chest area. This is where the head is, and obviously the hair is very familiar. Looks just the way these people. Sorry. One second. That was annoying. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like the way artists draw caricatures of Donald Trump with the exaggerated hair. We've all seen it. But over here, I've talked numerous times about how this could be the number 2 going this way, or the number 5 going this way. You just have to re-angle that in your mind. And then we've got either the letter L, possibly representing number 12, or the number 7. Now it just so happens that February, the number 2 and 7, is also the last day of the lunar calendar, as I've mentioned, the last day in the Chinese New Year in the Chinese Year of the Pig, which is January 25th. We may have a 1 here. This one's always been a little bit iffy because it kind of curves round, so it could be an L. But I've always focused on these because they're bigger. But either way, the number 25 again is referenced, and as I said, that is February the 7th. So those two events could be linked. We could see one, then the other. Perhaps something happens to Donald Trump, then we have the blackout. And you know how people have tried to connect into the Messiah and all sorts of things, and obviously when Jesus died on the cross, there were days of darkness which followed. So again, this could be something similar that they're trying to take from the Bible and attach to Donald Trump. And obviously again, with the number 27 connecting in the beginning of the video with the stick character potentially representing Donald Trump's MAGA supporters with their guns and their dogs, it could be in response to an event like this, something happening to Donald Trump. These people are going to war. We've already heard about all these kind of things. If you haven't, then I don't know where you've been. People are gearing up ready for war in the event that, you know, even the fact if they impeach Donald Trump, but if, you know, he gets shot, it's that whole deep state thing. The minds have been programmed, so, you know, they're ready to pick up their guns and go and kill their fellow human beings. Thou shalt not kill, but they will. So yeah, lots to potentially look out for on that date. And obviously I feel like this number 27 repeats for a reason. I mean, why else have it in there so many times? Again, just back here with the hare, or the rabbit, or the coney, or the buck, as I've discovered recently. Rabbits, male rabbits, can also be called bucks, which is also the same thing that deers or stags can be called. The ears with the number 2 and the vine leaf next to it with the number 7. Don't have to draw over it, I think it's pretty clear. And again, another possible reference to February the 7th. The next vine leaf potentially makes an F. Last year, it's not as if the dates in February are new to me. I've looked at them last year and the year before because there were so many different connections to the February, potentially. The letter F appearing so many times, you know. And obviously February was one of the only times one of my interpretations have gotten even close to what this video may have been interpreting. It was the school shooting in Florida with the kid that had the middle name of Jesus. I think it was Nicholas's first name, Nicholas de Jesus Cruz, I think it was. Yes, that was it. And my interpretation was a shooting Florida involving Donald Trump, with the person doing the shooting having the name Jesus. Even the number 223 I investigated to connect to a bullet type which is used in the AR-15s. Now, apart from the Donald Trump character, a lot of things connected. The date, for one, February the 14th, talked about that. That video should still be on my channel somewhere. The shooting, the name, there was far too many connections to ignore. And it just so happens that February the 7th, which is also January the 25th on the Julian calendar, is the 14th day of the first lunar month in the year of the rat, or the year of the pig. Sorry, in the year of the rat or the year of the mouse. So that number 14 comes up again, and that was interpreted from these letters in the Hangman game. Evolution, devolution, capital cities, many different things are interpreted from that. Because there's so much going on, even in this week, the Iowa caucuses, the State of the Union, the Super Bowl, the vote on whether to acquit or remove Donald Trump, all of that is going on this week. I think literally within the first 4 or 5 days of this week. So there's major events going on. And as I said, we've obviously just had Brexit. We're in Brexit now. The coronavirus, mainland China is being basically locked off. All countries recalling their citizens. And as I said in the comments of my previous video, that just seems to be a precursor to China going into, well, Hong Kong is in China, so what I really mean is Beijing directing their army to go into Hong Kong to quell the protest, which I still believe is going on. But obviously with the coronavirus, the reporters aren't really covering it because they're getting out of the country. And again, with the potential Blackout event and the potential Donald Trump event unfolding on February the 7th, because that is the last day on the Chinese lunar calendar, we also have to potentially watch out for China coming into Hong Kong. As I say, end of the Chinese lunar calendar on the Julian calendar, let me make that clear, running 13 days behind the Gregorian calendar. So at this point here, we've got that yin-yang, that switch, with number 1 potentially giving us a connection to the first lunar month. And then 5 of these tanks coming forward, with a 6th potentially in the back there. That brings you right to the end of the lunar calendar on the Julian calendar. Protester coming out, peace flag, Tiananmen Square reference. Again, everything in darkness, just the moonlight. So maybe it's not nighttime, maybe that's a reference to the blackout scenario that may have happened elsewhere. I will be making a few more videos, obviously, within this week as the days roll by. Today, February the 1st, is a watch for potential tsunami event. Probably should have said that in the beginning of the video, for those of you who haven't made it this far. But yes, today, February the 1st, is a potential tsunami watch event. Italy, Hawaii, New York, London. We've talked about all of these events in association with the Apple breaking, the River Hudson, earthquake, so many different things. 2 and 1 is, really quite simple. February the 1st, potential watch. I don't know if anything's going to happen today. I really hope not. But if that doesn't happen, then there is, in my interpretation, I believe there's one more date in which this interpretation could unfold, which would be February the 3rd. February the 3rd is January the 21st on the Julian calendar. That's just the 2 and 1 to represent that 21. And obviously 3 seeds in total, representing that number 3. Or 2 seeds on one side, the 3rd on the other. So 2, 3, February the 3rd. You guys, I think I'll leave it there. The blackout scenario, the Trump scenario, and the China scenario, I think are all linked together. So my interpretation for that event is February the 7th. Again, I hope none of this happens and that this watch just comes to an end. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.